I'm Sarah, this is Abby, and welcome to A Swool Unlimited. If you're new here, I'm a scuba instructor, and I moved into my van in 2021 after losing my dive shop in Indonesia due to shutdowns. I've been on the road diving around the US, Canada, and Mexico, teaching on YouTube along the way. Really quick, let's talk about diving expeditions. I have 2 trips to Baja coming up in December and January. Both of them are full, but I'm considering expanding just by a couple of people. So if you're interested in joining, check out the details on my website and send me an email. My trip to SOCORRO in collaboration with Fins Attached, which is going to be a shark research conservation trip that's happening in April of 2025, is selling out. So I have 3 spots left. I'm very excited about this. If you're interested in learning more about sharks and diving in incredible places in SOCORRO, check out those trip details and you can sign up directly online through my website. Let's get into the video. Okay, today is a super cool day because I'm going for my very first river dive. I'm joining a couple of friends. One of them has done this before. We're here in Washington, and I'm not actually sure which part of the river we're going to, so I need to get more information about all of this. Someone just said, let's go river diving, and I was like, yes, let's go. So we are taking paddle boards and all of our equipment, snacks, hydration. We're gonna paddle down the river, jump in, scuba dive, paddle, scuba dive. It sounds like it's very shallow diving for not very long. Should be pretty simple and easy. I know for a lot of you, river diving is like the norm. That's what you have access to and that's what you do. But this is a novelty for me. So I'm excited to experience it. I feel like we're mostly going to find like treasures in the river instead of seeing animals and things. But that's okay. Maybe we'll find something cool. I can become one of those treasure hunter YouTube channels. Gonna need all of the sun protection though. Let's go. I've never had the opportunity to river dive because it takes a bit more logistical heavy lifting to make it happen. Since I'm typically by myself on my diving travels, it hasn't made sense to try it. But today is the day for a cleanup dive at Snoqualmie River. When you do a river float or dive, you need to arrange cars at the drop-off and pickup points and make sure you have everything you need for your entire trip down the river. The river water is freshwater, which is less dense than salt water, meaning we would need less weight on our kit compared to ocean diving setups. However, because our goal was to do a cleanup dive while dealing with a very strong current, we planned to carry extra weight to be a little bit negatively buoyant. As for gear, I automatically started setting up my side mount kit and adjusting the intermediate pressure on one of my regulators. But as I got more information about the logistics for the day, I decided to take my back plate and wing and my old regulator set. This choice made the most sense because we would be donning and doffing our gear often, and everything needed to be secured well and or be able to float if knocked off the board. Having a side mount tank with no BCD attached and either wearing my harness all day or taking it off and putting it on several times for short dives just didn't sound smart. That looks like a river.
Berry.
Ooh.
Hell yeah.
Abby, don't eat the grass. Are we in the right spot?
Yeah.
Let's get you dressed. This means water adventure. We arrived at the river and connected with the brains behind the operation, Joe from Salty Scuba Squad.
Good morning, friend.
Hello.
I am Joe. Good to meet you.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Sarah.
Have we met before?
Maybe?
Okay.
Probably the internet.
Probably the internet. That checks out.
River shark. Abby, be nice.
No, be mean. Tater needs to be put in his place.
Oh, she'll do that for sure.
Salty Scuba Squad is a nonprofit based out of Arizona, but is making its way to the Pacific Northwest thanks to Joe's efforts. They remove trash from rivers and collect treasures to return lost items to their owners. Scuba diving is not a common activity enjoyed on this river, so we got stares as we pumped up our boards and moved our gear to the water. The majority of people come out to this river for a leisurely float, which inherently lends itself to some kind of beverage consumption, and that was the kind of trash we saw most during our dives. I have a huge pet peeve about this, if I'm being totally honest, because people go through all the effort to get these full drinks out into nature, but then are too lazy or drunk to take the trash with them when they're done. In these kinds of outings, there should always be a designated driver, so at least one person can be more on top of trash gathering for the group. That's it. I'll step off my soapbox.
Somebody explain paddleboarding to me.
Alright, because here by the end of the river, you're going to be doing pirouettes standing on this thing.
Handstands! I see some rapids, dude. It's gonna be fine.
If the tubers can make it, we
Okay.
The Snoqualmie River is an important water source here in Washington. The name Snoqualmie comes from the Snoqualmie tribe and means moon or people of the moon, referencing their deep cultural connection to the land and river. One of Washington's most famous waterfalls, the Snoqualmie Falls, is a 268-foot waterfall on the river, nearly twice as high as Niagara Falls. It's a major tourist attraction and sacred to the Snoqualmie tribe. The falls are also home to one of the earliest hydroelectric plants in the United States, built in 1898. This plant still produces power today, generating clean energy for the surrounding area.
She nearly stuck the landing.
go miles of downriver stand-up paddleboard. This would be a good checkout dive too to make sure you got enough, but not too much weight.
I went down for my first dive, and feeling the cool water on my face instantly calmed me. It's funny how quickly the hassle of getting ready for a dive melts away when gravity disappears and you drop into only paying attention to the breath. One thing I didn't think about when planning this adventure is the fact that Abby gets severe separation anxiety when she can see me disappear below the surface of the water. I found out later that after we descended, she immediately jumped in the water and tried swimming across the river in her little shark life vest. But all was well, and she did calm down throughout the day.
What do you think, Anna? I think it's good. It's a different vibe. Octopus is out of control. Yeah, we got lots of Gatorade. Severe separation anxiety these days, doesn't she? I'm coming, I promise.
The dives were funny. We would jump in right after rapids because we assumed that's where a lot of trash and treasures would naturally end up. The current was strong, and in some places it was necessary to use my hands to hold a position. Visibility was decent, and the water really wasn't so cold to warrant my thick wetsuit, but it did make for a very comfortable day in and out of the wind at the surface.
Oh no, this is funny. There. Hi. Hi. You being good? Oy, 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 oy.
Safety-wise, river diving is pretty straightforward. Be prepared for strong current diving. I've linked 2 videos about that in the description. And watch out for boaters, floaters, and rocks that could hurt you during the dive. We only had one hairy moment when Joe and Anna decided to go through a rapid while diving, but both of them had a blast doing it. I will say that going through rapids probably isn't the safest choice as a diver because you run the risk of smashing into rocks or getting a limb caught somewhere. All right, so what's my takeaway about the day and the activity? For this particular river and the portion we chose to dive, I would free dive next time. It was a lot of work to get the gear on and off and keep it on the paddleboard, whereas I think just bringing some powerful fins and a lung full of air would allow me to do the same cleanup effort. That being said, I would love to try some other river diving in the area, so if you have a recommendation, tell me in the comments.
Strike a pose.
River ball!
I mean, it's open, or it's not even open.
I know, it's the best part.
Do you really want to float like that? There you go. Look at this queen. I always tell you guys how much I love this lifestyle, like living in a van. It's great. The thing I hate is having to like put everything back in place no matter what, right? Just to like live in the space, get everything in their drying stations, and I still have to fix up everything before I can even get to work. And I'm gonna be working well into the night, but worth it. If you like this kind of video, subscribe. I'm doing weird things all the time. If you want more from the Azul Unlimited community, you can join Patreon. And I have expeditions going, so if you want to join me for a dive trip somewhere in the world, check out my upcoming trips on my website. Okay, love you, bye!